So, good to be here. And when I was just about ready to enter, I asked somebody, because the university's title is science, isn't it? Something like that. So I said, are the people here mostly science study, people who study science? And she said, no, arts people. And then I said, the topic is healing the heart. And she said, maybe they're all looking for the heart. Yeah. So some of you, if you're studying medicine, you know the heart here. But the heart here in the center of our chest is very often a big mystery to us. Yeah. It's amazing how we study so much about the external world. And we have so many instruments that we can use to measure different aspects of the external world. But the internal world of our own experience, we really don't know very much about. Yeah, it's hot, huh? Let's turn the aircon back on.
Sorry,
I think.
because there's some technical problem about the air conditioner, so they are fixing now, so we currently cannot turn it on.
They're fixing the air conditioning right now.
Oh. Oh, this is a good time to clean it.
Fixing.
Oh.
Fixing.
Yeah, okay. Okay, so, yeah, I was thinking maybe we should call the talk Looking for the Heart. Yeah, because we have different kinds of hearts, so to speak. So we are very expert at studying the external world. We have scientific instruments. We can study chemistry and biology and physics and everything. Yeah, and I've been to a couple of the Mind and Life conferences with the Dalai Lama and scientists, and the scientists are just overflowing with, statistics. But as soon as you ask a scientist, what is the mind? Nice room here. What did you ask? In other words, they don't know what in the world to say. Okay? And the most I can hear when I have dialogues with scientists is the mind is the emergent property of the brain. Oh, very interesting. What does that mean? Anybody know? What is an emergent property of the brain? Kind of like the brain is there and then the mind through evolution came out of it? I don't know. Nobody's ever been able to explain that to me. And when you look up brain, there's tons of references, lots of explanation. You look up mind, not very much. Okay. So in Buddhism, our main emphasis is on the mind. Okay. And the word, yes, thank you. The word that we translate as mind in Buddhism is the same word that can be translated as heart, as in somebody has a good heart. So in translation, having a good heart and having a good mind is the same words. Isn't that interesting? Because we usually think mind, intellect. Yeah. Mind is somewhere up here in the brain. Yeah. And the heart is here. And there's a brick wall between them. That's what it often feels like. And we don't know how to integrate our intellect and our ability to think with our emotions and what we feel. But in Buddhism, you know, mind and heart are the same word. So what it means, it's the part of us that cognizes, thinks, yeah, emotes, theorizes. It's everything that makes us a conscious being. Yeah. The presence or absence of the mind is what determines whether somebody is alive or dead. Yeah. From a scientific viewpoint, yeah, what makes somebody alive or dead, they haven't really settled on it. Some people say it's if the heart is beating or not, if the brain waves are there or not. Yeah, there's many different ideas. But from a Buddhist viewpoint, it's the presence or absence of the mind, the consciousness, the heart, you know, whatever it is that cognizes and feels and experiences. Mm-hmm. So this thing, okay, yeah, we all know is physical matter. Does it have mind? No. Yeah. Do you think your the table feels pain or pleasure when I hit it? I don't think so. Otherwise, you know, would it say ouch, or would it say, oh, that feels good? It's not saying anything. Okay, it doesn't experience pain or pleasure. So our mind and our body, yeah, are related when we're alive. That's what we call life. Is there's a mind and there's a body, and they're related to each other. They interact with each other. Yeah, death is just the continuity of the mind going in one direction, the continuity of the body going in another direction. Okay, so the body is material. We have lots of scientific instruments to measure it. Well, when I say body, it includes the brain. Okay. But the mind is not material in nature. Yeah. The definition of mind is that which is clear and cognizant. So clear can mean formless. It's not made of material substances. Okay. But clear can also mean that it reflects objects. Yeah, it has a relationship with objects. And cognizant means it can know and cognize these objects. Can our body, without the presence of a mind, cognize anything? What do you think? Yeah. Can you have a body and it by itself cognizes? Now somebody's going to go, artificial intelligence. Yeah, we're going to make a computer that is a sentient being. Yeah, which means every time I get mad at my computer, it's going to say my feelings are hurt. I'm not so sure. Okay. Yeah. So there's a difference between the mind and the body. Yeah, they work together, cooperate. Yeah, are alive. They have different continuities. So with the body, continuity of the body, we go back, 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 back. Okay, and everything's material in one way or another. And then you can get to the Big Bang. And the Big Bang is not the beginning of it. It may be the beginning of this particular universe. Yeah. But everything that is a conditioned phenomena, everything that has causes, yeah, or everything that changes into something else has causes, yeah, and causes always come before results. So if you have the Big Bang exploding and then becoming whatever is in our universe, yeah, then what was the Big Bang? And what caused it to explode? Okay, so there's some system of cause and effect working materially. So our mind can maybe trace back to the Big Bang, and then whatever material substance existed before the Big Bang. And that goes back infinitely, because you can't find a beginning, because everything that functions, meaning it changes, it does a function, has a cause. Yeah? And you can't have something arise or be produced out of nothing. Yeah, you with me? Okay. So it just goes back and back and back, never reaching a beginning. Okay, so if I'm talking to science people, I know you've all studied the number line. Okay, so if somebody says, and I often get this, but, there has to be a beginning. There has to be a beginning. And I say, okay, can you point to it? And I give the example of the number line. You're here at 0. You go in the negative numbers, you can always go one more. You go in the positive numbers, you always go one more. There's not an end in either way. So I say to people, they don't especially like my answer, I say, you can say there's a beginning, but that doesn't mean there is one. Okay. And then people will say, well, God created it all. And then my question is, what in the world is God, and who created God? Okay. So this, when you study ancient Indian philosophy, they have very much the same idea of a creator that the theistic religions now have, that there was some being who created everything. But from just using logic and reasoning, how can you have somebody who creates who was not a creator? Yeah. Or somebody who creates who was not created, I should say. Yeah. You can't have that, because that would mean something came without a cause. Yeah. Something cannot arise without a cause. Mm-hmm. So there's lots of debates between the ancient Indian Samkhyas and other ancient Indian philosophies and the Buddhists over this point. And the debates are very similar to the ones that we can have with theistic religions nowadays. Okay, except they don't always want to debate. they would rather convert us by just saying, believe. Yeah, believe. Believe without thinking about it, without checking if it made sense. Yeah, if you have any of you watched any of the teachings by the Dalai Lama that he gave during COVID? Yeah, a lot of them were on Zoom, and it's not Zoom, but online somewhere and through his website. And he's always telling us, as Buddhists, we have to use reasoning and logic. Yeah, we can't just abdicate our intellectual ability and say, I believe, because then we can believe anything. Yeah. And then you get any kind of philosophy that supposedly explains things. And that ability to not think but to just believe, yeah, is very dangerous in society, because I don't know about in this country, but in my country, you know, the former president and many of his followers just make up stuff that is total fabrication, and people believe, and it's ruining the country. Yeah, so people have to think and use reasoning and logic on one hand, and also test things out with our own experience. Okay, so when you know, now meditation's becoming very popular, and it's being taught on Wall Street of all places. Oh my goodness, yeah, and in banks and in universities and everywhere. Okay, but what meditation techniques are these people teaching people? What's the goal of the meditation? What's the result of the meditation? Yeah? And we need, you know, to ask these questions when we select teachers. Otherwise, you know, you get charlatananda. Yeah, you know charlatananda? Yeah, he's a charlatan. This is a fake character, okay? But we say Ananda because so many of the gurus are named Ananda. But charlatan is a charlatan, yeah. So if you follow charlatananda, you're gonna wind up super confused, yeah? Because you don't know what, you know, you and the teacher don't know what's going on, okay? So, at death, the body and mind split. They each have their own continuum. The body continues as physical material. Yeah? It gets burned and flies off and causes more pollution. And did you know that cremating bodies produces much more pollution than burying them and other things? Yeah? And so, yeah, the ashes float off. Or the body's buried and the worms have a really good lunch. Okay? In Tibet, old Tibet, before they became refugees, when somebody died, they would take the body up to a mountain and hack it in different pieces and offer it to the vultures who would come and eat. Now, we might look and go, ooh, how barbaric. Ugh. But when you think about it, personally speaking, yeah, I would rather something useful be done with my body after I die. because this thing, when I die, is of no use to me anymore. Yeah, and burying it and putting some kind of tombstone or something there, personally, like, why? Why? I don't understand. Okay, but when the death happens, okay, the body continues on as material. The mind also has a continuum, and it is one moment of clarity and awareness after another moment of clarity and awareness. Okay? And this never ends. It goes on because there's nothing that can cut the continuity of the mind. One moment of mind produces the next moment, produces the next moment. Okay? So in Buddhism, when we talk about samsara, the cycle of rebirth, yeah, we're primarily talking about how the mind continues from one life to the next, usually attached to one or another body, unless people are extremely concentrated yogis, in which case they don't have a physical body. But the mind continues. Okay, so our awareness, our experience continues. Yeah. What happens to it? Yeah, if we're beings in samsara, in other words, if we're ignorant beings who don't understand the nature of reality, then one moment of mind produces the next moment. And since that mind is ignorant, one moment of ignorance produces the next moment. And we continue in samsara as ignorant beings. Okay? What we're trying to do as Buddhist practitioners is get ourselves out of samsara, because when you really look at samsara, it really isn't that much fun. Okay? Now, I know sometimes samsara looks great. Yeah? Especially when you're young and you have your future in front of you, and you can do this and you can do that and be this and that, and then woo, all these different things, and it's so exciting. And your parents are such deadbeats. Yeah? Are your parents kind of deadbeats from your perspective? A few of you are saying yes. A few of you look very bored. Yeah. So when you're young and your body works well and things are new, then it's very exciting. Yeah. However, we also run into jams, and not everything goes the way we want it to go. True or not true? Anybody here who doesn't have problems? Yeah. I think you could probably, off the top of your head, list at least 25 problems without pausing. Yeah. But this is the nature of samsara. And when we're ignorant, we create, the ignorance gives rise to afflictions, which are mental factors that color the mind. Yeah. Some mental factors help us cognize and experience. Some mental factors have to do with how we interpret things, what our views are. Some mental factors have to do with our emotions. Yeah. And so we have some positive emotions And we have some emotions that are problematic. Okay? So when we talk about the problematic ones that keep us in samsara, the three principal ones are ignorance, anger, and attachment. Okay? Those are called the three poisons. So ignorance, we don't know the nature of reality. Okay? Attachment. Attachment includes craving, clinging, greed, anything that involves exaggerating or projecting good qualities on a person or an object, and then wanting to keep it, possess it. It's mine. Okay? And it's very interesting. As soon as we label something mine, how it looks in our perspective completely changes. Okay? So maybe some of you drove here, yeah, or maybe you didn't, but you have a car, or you dream of having a car. Yeah, that car is mine. Mine, my car. Oh, my beautiful car. Bright red, you know, with all the latest things on it. And, you know, oh, that car gives me some status. It makes me excited. People think that I'm really far out and I attract people depending on the car I drive. Yeah? But as soon as we label that car mine, although it may be exciting, we also enter into what I call car hell. In other words, whatever you have, yeah, it may be out of sight pleasurable, but it always, at the end, is going to leave you disappointed. Yeah? You get your new car. The new car has no scratches on it. Is it going to get scratches? You bet. Even you don't want it, it's going to get scratched. When that car was still in the showroom at the car dealers, if it got scratched when it was in the showroom, did you get upset? Before you bought it, when you were just looking at cars? No, you didn't care. Oh, car dealer's car is scratched. Who cares? But as soon as you give that person a piece of plastic and they give you a car, you enter into car hell, because that car will get scratched, it will break down, and it usually breaks down at the most inconvenient time, okay, which could be any day, yeah? And then you get it fixed, and it will break again. And then the car goes out of, it gets old. Yeah. And who wants an old car? They break. They don't give you the same status with other people as a bright, shiny new car gives. Yeah. So you got to trade it in. It costs money to dump that car and get a new one. Okay, it costs money to keep up the car. So you are inaugurated into car hell. Okay, so everything we look at is so interesting. As soon as we give it the label mine or my, its whole meaning changes. For example, my boyfriend. or my girlfriend. Ooh, that word mine is potent, isn't it? Yeah. If you don't know that person so well, they're not your boyfriend or girlfriend. So they make some mistakes. You know, they sometimes do some stupid things. You just know them. They're an acquaintance. They can go out with anybody they want to. They can look at anybody they want to. But as soon as that person becomes my boyfriend or my girlfriend, ooh, it changes. You cannot go out with other people. You have to always look good because I want my boyfriend or girlfriend to look good because I got to show you off. And I get some status based on if you look cool. Okay? So the word my totally changes everything. Yeah? When you say my child, yeah, or my parents, if your child, yeah, can't spell correctly, or can't add correctly, or maybe they're dyslexic, and so they think a B is a P, okay, or a B is a D, and they get all the letters mixed up. Oh no, what's wrong with my child? I better do something. Yeah, they've got to be number one students. Yeah. My children cannot get anything less than the top. Why? Because they're mine. And my identity depends on my children. I am the mother or father of that child. So what that child is doing reflects on me. Okay. When I became a nun, my parents said, oh no, yeah, what are we going to tell our friends? Yeah, my daughter became a what? And she looks like what? And she wears what? Yeah. Yeah. Why? Because it was my daughter. When other people's kids are ordained, my parents didn't care. They didn't get upset. But their own daughter does? Oh, terrible. Okay. So we need to look, if we're going to talk about attachment, of how attachment works in our mind. Because like I said, attachment is a mental factor that exaggerates or projects good qualities onto someone or something and then wants to possess it. Yeah, or hold on to it if you already possess it. Mm-hmm. So just by the definition of attachment, clinging, craving, you know that it is a wrong consciousness. It exaggerates or projects qualities that aren't there. Okay? So that consciousness is not seeing its object correctly. Yeah? I'm looking at this cup, yeah, and I don't see just a cup. Yeah. Look how beautiful this cup is. Isn't this cup the most beautiful cup you've ever seen? Look, there's a bird there and a bird there, and it's so nice, and my friends think I'm really cool because I have this cup. Yeah, I don't want to be separated from my cup. And then one day, what do? I just move my hand and the cup goes flying across the room. And now, instead of one cup, we have 1 billion pieces. Okay? And I am upset because my beautiful cup got broken. Yeah? Somebody else's beautiful cup got broken. I don't care. But mine, I care. Isn't that strange? Yeah? What is it that makes something mine? What makes something mine? Yeah. It feels like there's a real me here who possesses something. Yeah. I possess this cup. There's a real me who is the owner of this cup. So don't you take it because it's not yours. Okay. But if I see a more beautiful cup and somebody gives me that, then yeah, you can have this one. And then it's your cup. And as soon as it's your cup, I don't care if it gets broken anymore. What made it mine to start with? Is there anything in my body that sticks to an object that makes it mine? Yeah. Why is something mine? I mean, this is an important word in our vocabulary, isn't it? My or mine. What makes something mine? Do you know how many wars are fought over the word mine? This is the source of so much conflict. Yeah. The conflict between Russia and Ukraine is over the word mine. One little word, mine. Is the area around Donetsk mine? If you're Ukrainian, you say yes. If you're Russian, you say yes. What do you do because you disagree? You kill each other. Oh, that's really logical, huh? That's really smart. You don't agree on a 4-letter word, and so you kill each other. But that 4-letter word is so important. But what makes something mine? I have taught in Israel several times, and one of the retreats I led was in the southern Israel, and it was right on the border with Jordan. Okay, some kibbutzes here. There is a fence here. There is some sand here because we're in the middle of the Negev desert, and the sand is raked, yeah, so that if anybody from the Jordanian side stepped on it and tried to get into Israel, their footprint would be there. And then I think there was another fence on the Jordanian side too. Okay. So one day I was standing there looking at the border between Israel and Jordan, and the wind was blowing, and some sand, here blew up in the air, it blew over the fence, and then it landed in Jordan. So is that, when that sand was on this side of the fence, it was Israel. When the wind blew it on the other side of the fence, it was Jordan. How can that be? Is that sand Israel or is it Jordan? If I pick up some sand and I throw it over the fence and I'm on the Israeli side, am I giving away part of the national treasure to Jordan. And now the Jordanians say, this is my sand. Yeah, this is my land. The border is here. It's mine. Quite interesting, isn't it? What makes that sand mine or theirs? It's still sand, and it looks the same, and it has the same function, whether it's on this side of the fence or the other side. But we're going to fight about it and kill each other about it. Do you think human beings are smart? It depends, huh? In one way, we're smart. I mean, we've invented all this stuff. We invented aircon. Wow. Yeah, human beings are so smart. We invented aircon. And we can even fix it when it breaks sometimes. Sometimes we can't fix it. Yeah. So on one hand, we're very smart. From a Buddhist viewpoint, also human beings are smart because we have the potential to learn and think about the Buddhist teachings and transform our mind. And we have incredible potential as human beings to become omniscient Buddhas. So from a Buddhist viewpoint, our mind, what our mind can do is almost limitless. Yeah. But on the other hand, we fight and kill each other, which is about the most stupid thing we could do. Because everybody wants to be happy and nobody wants to suffer. So and we're all alike that way, so what's the use in causing sentient beings who just want to be happy suffering by killing them? Yeah. Is that stupid or is that smart? Think about it. Yeah. So attachment, my sand, don't you touch it. Yeah. So it's called an afflictive mental factor because it's exaggerated, and under its influence, we act in harmful ways. Okay. Now, the more attached we are to things, then when we can't get them, the more dissatisfied we are. When we get them, we might be disillusioned and unhappy. When we get them, they break, or somebody else steals them, or they turn out not to be as good as the advertisement. And now we're angry. The more I'm attached to something, the more angry I get when my desire is frustrated, or I get it and then I have to separate from it because it breaks or it gets stolen or whatever. Okay. And anger, that's the third poison. Poisonous mind: ignorance, attachment, anger. Anger is a mind that exaggerates the negative aspects of someone or something and then wants to strike it. Yeah. Or, get away from it. That's another way of, quote, quote, striking it. We run away, we attack. Fight or flight. So attachment and anger are very related. The more we cling to something, the angrier we get when we don't have it anymore, or when somebody else gets it. Yeah. So my boyfriend, yeah, if he looks at somebody else, I'm not very happy. If we break up, if I decide we break up, then he dates somebody else, that's okay. If he decides we break up, then what's he doing dating other people? He can't do that. Okay? So we can see that both attachment and anger are based on exaggeration. They are both distorted mental states. Yeah, that's why they're called poisons, because they poison our mind, and because they're distorted, and under their influence, we harm other living beings. And whenever we harm another living being with a negative intention, we are harming ourselves. Okay, and here's where karma comes in, you know, is that whenever we act with our body, speech, and mind with an intention, yeah, then we create karma. And that karma just means action. Sometimes we use the word karma to mean the result of an action. Sometimes we use karma to mean the seed that's implanted on our mind stream after we act. Okay? But our actions have an ethical dimension. And if they're virtuous karma, virtuous actions, they will bring happiness in the future to us. If they're negative actions, they will bring suffering to us in the future. So whenever we harm somebody now, we're planting the seeds for our own suffering that we will experience in the future. So whenever we have pain or problems, yeah, we always say, why me? Don't we? Why me? Why do I have this problem? I'm such a nice, sweet person. I didn't do anything. Why me? Yeah. Or you get sick. Why me? Why do I have to have COVID? Yeah. Well, why me? We created the cause through our actions. Yeah. So there's nobody really to point the finger to say, they're the problem. Because it's my actions that created that karma that brought the suffering result. Okay? My actions. I can't blame it on somebody else. But most of our life, we blame other people for our problems, don't we? Yeah. I mean, we're such nice people. We don't do anything, and yet they gossip about us behind our back. Yeah, they trash us to other people and ruin our reputation. They steal our stuff. They cheat us. Why me? Well, we created the cause. But what's interesting is, although whenever we have a problem, we say, why me? Yeah. Whenever things go well, we never say, why me? Yeah. Do you say, oh, I got admitted to university and I get to have a good education. Why me? Anybody say that? Anybody say, I had food today and my belly's full. Why me? Oh, we never say, why me? We say, give me more. There's some incongruity here, isn't there? With suffering, why me? Meaning I don't deserve it. Happiness, never say that. Meaning I deserve it. The world owes it to me. And we have this feeling of entitlement. So that when other people have more than we have, when other people are better than we are, ooh, ooh, we burn with jealousy. Yeah, jealousy is another afflictive attitude. Yeah, it cannot see, it cannot just not see, it cannot endure the happiness of others and wants to take it away from them and have it for ourselves. Anybody here ever been jealous? Okay, a few people you've never been jealous, huh? I suppose those same people have never lied either. Yeah. Okay. Are you happy when you're jealous? What makes you more miserable, anger or jealousy? Which one do you think makes you more miserable? How many people say anger makes you more miserable? Okay. How many people say jealousy makes you more miserable? Kind of even, maybe more to the jealousy. Personally speaking, jealousy makes me much more miserable. You know, because you just sit there and you just can't stand that somebody's better than you, and there's nothing you can do about it. And if you do something about it, like trash them and take the opportunity for yourself, then you're left with, how do I respect myself if I take away other people's happiness? How do I respect others if I am happy by causing other people pain? Ooh, that's nasty, isn't it? Yeah. How can we have self-respect when we're happy causing other people pain? Ugh. Yeah, that's why I think for me, jealousy is just horrible. Yeah. So better to give away what we're jealous about, if we have it or, we want it. Just give it to the other person. When I lived in a monastery in France, there was one older woman who ordained. And, she had been married. Her husband left her for somebody younger. And, she was fine with the divorce. She was a nun now. She quite enjoyed being a nun. But every once in a while, her husband would do something that kind of, put it right in her face that he left her for somebody who was better. And she'd get a little bit jealous. And when she did that, I'd say, Claudine, don't be jealous of her. She gets to pick up his dirty laundry now. Yeah. She thought about it. She said, yeah, you're right. So there's many ways to abandon jealousy. Yeah, if you think what you now don't have to do. Okay. So to get out, so when we have these, we have a sequence here. The ignorance that doesn't know reality. It gives rise to afflictions, so distorted views and disturbing emotions. And those give rise to actions or karma. And then when we can create positive karma or negative karma. If it's afflictions, we always create, we generally create negative karma. Okay. But just by the fact that those actions were under the influence of ignorance, means that we will take another rebirth in samsara. Okay? So if we want to get off this merry-go-round, then we have to generate the wisdom that knows how things actually exist. Okay? And so that becomes our life work, because if you really look clear and hard at what samsara is, it's not so fun. We happen to have a good rebirth this time. Yeah. Would you want to be a Palestinian right now in Gaza? I didn't think so. Yeah. Would you want to be a frog? No. Would you want to be Donald Trump? Save me from that one. No. Okay. So we begin to see that samsara is like a merry-go-round. And because we have many varied kinds of actions, there's many varied kinds of seeds on our mind stream that can ripen at the time of death and attract our mind to be born in another body. Okay? We are not born, some people think, oh, you choose your parents. They ask, do we choose our parents? So I really have to disappoint them. I say, no, we don't sit up on a cloud up there saying, I'm looking for parents, you can apply now. And then I read the applications and I see which kind of parents I want, and I sign up there, and then I get born in that family. It's not like that. Okay? Rather, when the karma ripens, we have different visions that correspond with that karma, and we're attracted to be born as one kind of living being or another kind of living being in one family and another family. Yeah. So samsara, you know, what do you call them? Merry-go-rounds. Yeah? You know what merry-go-rounds are? Hello? Yeah. Yeah. You get on a horsey. Yeah? You know the horsies? Yeah? And the horsies go up and down while the whole thing is turning. Okay? Yeah. So when you go to a carnival, you know, you can go on the merry-go-round. Well, at the beginning, it's really fun. Woo! I'm on this nice horsey. My horsey is goes higher than yours. Yeah. But then your horsey then goes down lower than somebody else's. And then it goes up again, and it goes down again. This is what life in samsara is like. You have a good rebirth, and then some negative karma ripens. You have a bad one, then you can have a good one again, then you have a bad one. Okay, it's really like a merry-go-round, except a merry-go-round at the carnival, they stop it. Yeah. Nobody else can stop the merry-go-round we're on, only us. And the only way to stop it is through generating wisdom. Okay? But before we can generate wisdom, we have to be convinced that samsara is no fun. So Lama Tsongkhapa, he's a great Tibetan sage. He talks about 3 principal aspects of the path. The first one is the aspiration to be free of samsara. That's what we often call renunciation. But the English word, people misunderstand the English word renunciation. And when they say to practice the path, you have to renounce samsara, they think that means you renounce pleasure. No, it doesn't mean that. We're renouncing suffering. What do we want to be free of? We want to be free of suffering. Yeah. Pleasure is not the problem. The problem is attachment to the pleasure. Yeah. If you experience pleasure and there's no attachment, like the Buddhists do, fine, no problem. But when we experience pleasure and it's, I want more, yeah, then it becomes a big problem because our mind gets super uncontrolled and we start running around here, there, and everywhere trying to devise some kind of scheme to get the pleasure. So the pleasure is not a problem, the attachment to it is. Okay? So, but that's one element on the path to awakening that's really important that we generate. The second one is what we call bodhicitta. Yeah? And this is the aspiration to become a fully awakened Buddha so that we can be of the greatest benefit to other living beings. So this one, we say, I'm in samsara, afflicted by the three poisons. So is everybody else. We're no different. But all these other beings have been kind to me. In fact, my whole life is dependent on other living beings. Yeah. Could you live on a desert island all by yourself? Yeah. Anybody here capable of growing all your own food? Anybody here can make the cloth your clothes are made out of? Or make your clothes? Anybody who can build the buildings? You might say, but I'm an engineer, I can do it. Yeah, you can build the building without a contractor. What kind of engineer are you? A structural engineer? A civical? What's the word? Yeah, anyway, that kind of engineer. Or a water engineer. Or, there's so many different kinds of engineers. Yeah. Can you do all the engineering on a project? Yeah. How about making the tiles? Anybody know how to make tile? Anybody know how to make carpet? Okay. Some of you may know how to do electricity. I know how to change a light bulb and flick the switch. Yeah. But even if you're an electrical engineer, do you know how to make the wires? Do you know how to make the conduits? No. Yeah. Anybody here know how to make all the medicine that you might need during your life? No. Where do we get the 4 requisites for life? Okay, food, clothing, shelter, medicine. The 4 requisites to stay alive. Where do we get them? None of us know how to make them or grow them ourselves. We're completely dependent on other living beings. I think we're more dependent on other people now than at any other time in human history. Yeah. So all these other beings are really kind, aren't they? Our life depends on them. They make the things we use. They make what we eat. Yeah? Our lives depend on them. They are kind. Okay. Now somebody's going to say, but they're not kind because they're thinking of me. Yeah, so what? For somebody to be kind, do they have to be thinking of you and only you? I'm making this building for you, one person. No. For us, for other beings to be kind, for us to reap the benefit of their life work, they don't have to be thinking of us. We just have to be benefit from their actions. Yeah. And when we can spend some time really thinking about this, then we see that our entire life we have been the recipient of extraordinary kindness. Yeah. We usually feel, oh, other people got more than me. I got left out. They're smarter. They have higher ranks. They have nicer parents. They have more money. They're more attractive. They have more athletic, more musical, more artistic. I got left out of all the good things. But actually, we've been the recipient of kindness from even before we were born, because we can't live without other living beings. Yeah, and I really recommend you spend some time thinking about this. My teacher used to say, okay, let's take an apple. There's no apple here. Let's take an apple. Okay, how many living beings were involved with you having that apple? Okay, so who gave you the apple or who bought the apple? Yeah. You say, I bought the apple, it's mine. Who gave you the money? My boss. Who gave your boss money? Oh, the client. What do you do for your living? Your living. I make widgets. Don't ask me what a widget is. I make widgets. Okay? How many people are involved in making the parts that go into your widget? Or if we go back to the apple, who grew the apple? Who planted the apple tree? Who watered the apple trees? Yeah. Who picked the apples? Who transported the apples? Who packaged the apples in the supermarket? Who made the supermarket for you to go into so that you can go buy apples? Yeah. If you take any one object and start tracing back all the different people who were involved with the production or growth of one object like an apple, it goes back and back and back and back. And you see that you are linked to so many living beings and that you benefited from all of them. We take the opportunity, we take the ability to talk for granted, don't we? Could you talk when you came out of the womb? Yeah? No. All we could do is cry. Okay. Who taught us to talk? Yeah. Watch parents with young children, with babies and toddlers. Yeah. They'll sit with the toddler and, the toddler will go, goo, and the parent will go, goo, and show the toddler how to make the shape, goo, And the toddler says, mama, and the parent shows, ma, ma, and the child learns how to say it. Okay, how many people taught us how to speak and taught us words and taught us grammar? Yeah, we're indebted to a lot of people, because if they didn't spend time teaching us, we would still be going goo goo gaga and nothing more, and crying when we wanted something because we couldn't talk. Okay? So the aspiration to be free of samsara, the aspiration to become a Buddha so that we can be of the best benefit to all these other living beings who have been kind to us. We can pay it back or pay it forward, however it is. Okay? That's the second of the three principal aspects of the path. The third one is the wisdom that understands reality, both the ultimate reality of how something exists and conventional functioning and operation of objects. Okay, so if you ever have wondered what's the purpose of my life, this is it, those 3 points. Yeah, because when we die, none of our possessions come with us. None of our money comes with us. I don't care how much paper money people may burn for you, you're not going to get it. It's just going to pollute the sky. Okay? Our friends and relatives don't come with us. Yeah. What comes with us are our karmic seeds, either the ones from virtuous actions or non-virtuous actions. Okay? So if we want to have a good rebirth, if we want to attain liberation, if we want to become fully awakened Buddhas, then it's really important that we use our present life and our human intelligence in a wise way to generate those three: the aspiration to be free of samsara, the bodhicitta, to benefit sentient beings, and the wisdom realizing reality. Okay? And if you're looking for meaning in your life, this is a pretty good meaning. Yeah? Because everything else you have to separate from. Yeah? If not, sometime between whatever you get, you have to separate from between the moment you get it and the moment you die. But at death, everything except our karmic imprints and our habits, we have to separate from. So if you want to think long term of what's valuable, think of the causes that you can create using your present human intelligence so that you can be of greater benefit to other living beings. So we can do a few questions or comments, answers are not guaranteed, but I'll try. Yes.
Thank you, Venerable. I enjoyed the talk. I just have one question that's always in my mind. I know I read a little bit about your heritage and cultural background, so I have this. I don't want to be offensive, but I just ask, why is it necessary for some people to? Can you hear me? Why is it necessary for some communities to regard themselves as the chosen people of God? I find it so unwise and unnecessary and hurtful. Eh? It is in the just because it's in the holy books. Don't you think that things will change in life and the old books not necessarily true anymore? And or it's meant to be a positive reinforcement so that even though you're a tiny bit of the community, you are how many Nobel Prize winners and stuff like that. You know, I find it that, you know, not that everybody in your community is so smart. Why is it necessary to tell people you are the chosen people?
I don't believe in the Bible. Okay, I'm a Buddhist. Yeah. I don't believe in the Bible.
It's harmful for the world. That is you that
I don't feel.
No, I know you are not.
Yeah.
But if a community has this view that I'm superior, I'm the chosen people, how will other people feel?
Yeah. But have you ever noticed that every religion feels that it is the only one right religion? Have you ever noticed that? Yeah. And everybody says, I believe in the one right religion, even though all those religions say different things. Okay? Why is my religion right? Because it's mine. And I would never believe in anything wrong. So if it's what I think, it must be right. That's not a very good reason. This is why His Holiness Dalai Lama tells us we have to use reason and logic. Okay? And so I can't defend that. I don't believe it. Yeah? And the people who say, my religion's right, and if you don't believe in this one, you go to hell. Well, they can believe that, but I don't believe that. Yeah, people can say all sorts of things. It doesn't mean it's true. It can be written in all sorts of holy books. It doesn't mean it's true. You know, we have to think about things. And when we can think and see the truth in what somebody teaches, then it makes sense to follow that. So, you know, in the sutras, there's the phrase episico. I can never pronounce it. Episico. It means come and see. Yeah, this is what the Buddha said to people: come and listen and see, and you can make up your own mind. Yeah, and this was what my teacher said the very first course I went to. I said, good, now I'll listen. If they had said, we have the truth with a capital T, and if you don't believe it, you know where you're going, I would have said, bye-bye. Bye-bye. I don't want this stuff. Okay? Other questions? Comments? Nothing? Okay. Then let's just sit for a minute and feel happy about what you did this evening. You know, we thought about something that was new, that was worthwhile. Yeah, we were encouraged to think and to try things out and to see the kindness of others. So rejoice that you spent your time doing something worthwhile and you created merit. And let's rejoice at the merit of everybody here. We also created some collective karma because we came here for a certain purpose, a virtuous one, and we all accomplished that. So individual karma, collective karma. We created some goodness this evening. So rejoice. And then let's imagine sharing all this merit, sending it out to all the living beings, together with our prayers and aspirations that all of them may be happy and free from suffering, that all of them can attain Buddhahood.